After all this time, finally going to start a reptile series. And the first series we're going to do is all going to be on this guy. As you can see, he's a maniac. So this is a bearded dragon, male. It's about 3 years old. See if we can get a bit of focus on him there. And these guys are on about what I always considered the larger end of the small lizard keeping, if that makes any sense to you. So the bearded dragons are kind of the larger of the small lizards. So you know, they're not going to get the size of your iguanas or any of those guys. But we'll start by just the tank setup, and then I'll go a bit more in depth with, you know, keeping requirements and everything you could need to know about these guys if you want to keep them yourself. Take you through the whole journey as the series goes on and get more and more in depth. So what we're going to do, this is actually, I don't normally promote using old stuff, but this is his tank, 3 years, no other critter's ever had this tank, so I'm going to try and use this because I'm likely to wreck it with what it is I'm doing. So I didn't want to buy a new tank just for this. When we go to do a series 2 in the future, we'll get a real serious tank and it'll all be custom. A lot of my stuff's usually custom made. This tank was given to us when we adopted this guy, or rescued, whatever you want to call it. I don't really know what this is, and I think it's probably a Viv Exotic or something like that, because it feels like flimsy as shit. So this is a 48 long, 19 back, 19 deep, so 4 foot tank by about a foot and a half, just over. And what we're going to do is a bioactive arid environment. So we're going to have a lot of serious lighting, live plants, clean-up crew, eventually what will become a self-sustaining environment. That's the bioactive environment. A lot of you guys that keep some of the, or a lot of the amphibians and stuff like that, or definitely the guys who keep marine tanks and reef fish and stuff like that. The whole deal with, for instance, reef fish is creating biodiversity in one big collective system. You've got some element of every part of the food chain in one system. So this bacteria takes care of that, bacteria takes care of that one, takes care of that one. These critters take care of those ones, and you create one massive ecosystem. Massive, it's up to you. One ecosystem basically in these tanks. So bioactive, that's what we're going with. Bioactive arid. First thing we're going to do is seal the tank, because it's totally unsealed, so we'll do that. Then we're going to take care of all the electrics, or lighting, heating, get all that sorted. Then we'll put the backgrounds in, then it'll be hardscape, then it'll be substrate, then live plants, and then, you know, we're good to go. Going to be using a lot of different brands on this build: Exoterra, reptile systems and bird systems, which I'm right hyped on. We might be using some white python stuff, Swells, standard stuff, what else, Lucky Reptile, and Pro Rep. So we're in the UK, so we get access to a lot of the Pro Rep stuff, the full range. I'm sure you Americans and that lot do too. So let's get to it. So as you can see already here, you've got some really, really awful background here. I can't stand that. I hate those kinds of backgrounds. You'll also notice there's a lot of old things where there's been old, you know, bits and pieces attached to wires and stuff. I like to try and keep everything like right out the way. I don't like seeing any wires. I don't even like seeing heat sources, to be honest, or probes or anything. I like it to be just like people see the decor and all that, and the animal, could appreciate the animal and they're not noticing nothing else. To start with, because we'll be using ceramics on these, I love ceramic heat, we'll be using a cage for his safety, but down the line, if I can find a way of mounting it straight into the top of the tank, like I said, I don't care about wrecking this tank, so I might just drill straight through the top and have it as far away as I can without having to have a big obstructive cage. But there's nothing wrong with having the cage. Like I say, I just want it to be all about the scape and about the animal. You'll also notice there's a lot of little holes, experimental holes. This will be, there'll be something over this eventually, something over the sides. I'm going to have a 3D background on. That's going to be through Exoterra, you know, all good. But first I'm going to get the sealant down, and then I'll probably leave the electrics to the next episode. So I'll show you how I do my sealants. Oh, and another thing, if you're thinking what are you going to do about the vents, they're going to be blocked up by the 3D background. I don't want to be cutting my 3D background up, but what I will be doing, because I prefer crossflow, I think crossflow's a lot better. There is a big mesh thing in the top, but that is being covered by a light, but what I'm going to do is drill through the sides and put my own vents in. So got a window back behind this tank, fresh air straight through here and out the other side. Depending how far I take this tank, I could even mount PC fans, a little tiny fan. So you have two vents, have two either side, and have fans in the one, and have them on timers. So like in every, you know, it's up to you, in every hour they might turn on for 5 minutes and just flush all the shitty air out, fresh air in. So let's get this sealed in. He's obviously not going to be in here when I'm actually using the sealant, but this is who I use. It's King British, it's an aquarium sealant. I use this just because I know it's safe and it sets quickly. Another thing you want to get yourself, or it's worth, you know, they're only cheap and they do really come in handy. It's just a sealant profiling tool. It's like a thumb on a stick. If you can't find one of these things there, you could just use a bit of washing up liquid or something on the end of your thumb, go over it, and once it's dry, just go over it with a towel or something. You can just get the excess washing up liquid on there, because obviously these guys don't want to be getting involved with washing up liquid. Let's get this guy out of here before he gets any ideas about eating glue. You see that mark on his chin? That's from eating fruit this morning. He likes his fruit. Another thing what you want to do, just before you seal off, just make sure there's no bits of debris or anything like that around. Make sure you get all that up. You can see it's all sealed off now. It's all siliconed in. You know, it's not the it's not the cleanest job in the world, but at the end of the day, like, this is all going to be out of sight. It's all going to be buried. So that's tank's all siliconed in now. You can get on with the electrics. Like, comment, and subscribe. Follow the progression of this build.